Building wealth is not easy. If it was that easy as the people that are on the internet saying that you can get rich within a year, build and scale $1 million businesses within a few years, that is far from reality. That is far from what everyday people can achieve. What I'm going to be teaching you today is the 4 parts of actually building wealth in a sustainable manner, the mindset required to actually build wealth, income, expenses, investing. These are the 4 parts that you actually need in order to grow and build your wealth over a sustainable amount of time. Let's get right into it. My personal story is that I grew up in a poor immigrant household in New York City, out in the suburbs in Queens, New York. Everyone around me was poor. Everyone was trying to learn English. Everyone was trying to get a job that can actually support their family. And a lot of times parents had multiple children that they really couldn't afford. Growing up in such an environment and even in such an immigrant household instilled in me a type of mindset that was detrimental for my own financial education and my own financial health in the long term, right? Even thinking about it now and some of the habits that I've sustained, for example, frugality, scarcity mindset, come with growing up a certain way. In order to build wealth, you need to have the right mindset. In order to have the right mindset, you have to understand some of your own self-limiting beliefs about money. If you're gonna be saying that money is the root of all evil and that you never want to actually get rich or build wealth, then it's going to cause more problems in your own life and your lifestyle than not. The mindset that you have is going to, 1, either fuel your own growth in your own financial journey and being financially independent, or B, do the exact opposite, which is going to be detrimental and actually hold you back because of these self-limiting beliefs. Some of the ideas around this is around the psychology of money, how you view money, how you saw your parents view money growing up, right? Were your parents in the lower class, the middle class, or upper class? That is going to determine how you view money and whether or not you view things in the short term or the long term. If you're more geared towards the short term, you're gonna earn your money in your job and you're going to probably spend it living paycheck to paycheck. And if you have a long view horizon approach to money, in order to build wealth, you're going to save money and invest money. And some of the questions that you need to start asking yourself is, what are my limiting beliefs? What are the views that I've attained from my own personal childhood growing up, from the perspective of what I learned from my parents, right? How did my parents shape how I view money? And what am I actively doing in order to increase my own financial education and how to build wealth, not only for yourself, but your family, for your future family, for even just to sustain a comfortable lifestyle. Because here in the US, it is growing incredibly more and more difficult for everyday normal people to actually live a comfortable lifestyle. Your income is going to be a huge part of the equation in order for you to actually build wealth. And I'm not saying you have to make $500,000 every year, but from wherever you are, there is always room to increase your salary in your job, whether you're a freelancer or you're a salaried employee or you're getting paid by the hour. In wherever position you are at right now, there is a lot more room for you to grow, not only by upskilling to increasing knowledge specific to your trade, to your craft, your profession, or increase your salary by working more hours or being better at your job so that you can actually jump jobs and get better pay, or automate your job in a way that you can actually save time, right? Because everyone only has the same amount of time in the day. Whether or not you're working 7 or 8 hours in a day, you're not actually working 8 hours fully. You can build scripts, you can build automation, you can use AI in order to actually leverage, in order to actually save time, so that when you're working, you're actually working fewer hours but increasing your output. At the end of the day, your employer wants you to produce results. Producing results doesn't mean that you have to work hard. Working hard is a part of it, but working smart is the better approach. So work smart and also work hard, but there is a fine balance in between. There are many ways in order to increase your income, whether that's like side hustles, creating businesses, or working 2 jobs. But at the end of the day, You know yourself best. You know what skill you are best geared towards and what you will have success towards in the future. And over time, as you're building a reputation, as you're building your work history, you will see your income increase. It's going to help in the process of building wealth. Okay, the other part of the puzzle, the equation, is your expenses. No matter how much money you actually have coming in, it doesn't matter if there's more money actually going out, right? We're talking about getting into debt. We're talking about people that are living paycheck to paycheck and people that want to keep up with the Joneses. And you know what? At the end of the day, we don't actually know who is wealthy and who isn't. It's not easy to spot because someone that's driving Ferrari might not be actually rich or wealthy in the idea that they have a lot of money because they are actually spending all of it. You need to keep your expenses to a sustainable level. Well, depending on the actual income that you have, you need to review how much is actually going out. Whether or not that is a budget, whether or not that is just a simple tally of like, hey, these are my actual needed expenses in order to survive, right? Whether that is like groceries, your rent, maybe your internet bill, although you don't actually need it, it might be actually beneficial to your health to cancel it. But I'm not telling you to deprive yourself. Look, personally, I lived with a roommate, or I lived in a smaller size apartment for over 10 years coming out of my 20s when I was in university, when I was still in the Marine Corps, and even after I got a high-paying six-figure salary in software, because I understood that all the money that I am saving and investing is going to be compounded by time. So the earlier to actually do it, the better it is. So the reason why specifically why I have roommates is because rent is usually the biggest expense. And if you're gonna cut anywhere, I'd rather cut through the rent rather than trying to not have coffee every single day and save $1 or $2. There are outside of the box ideas in order to keep your expenses down, whether that is like house hacking, whether that is alternative lifestyles, alternative living. People actually live in vans. We have people that are living in their cars. We have people that are actually living on boat, right? Boat life is a thing. And also geo arbitrage. People that actually have remote freedom and location independence are living in other countries. They're living in other countries because the purchasing power of their home country's currency, for example, for myself, the US dollar goes a long way when I bring that over to South America or to Southeast Asia, right? This is an out-of-box idea in order to keep your expenses low while maintaining a work-life balance, right? So you're not just slaving away, you're not just living a frugal lifestyle and not enjoying yourself. I understood what I wanted to personally spend on, and for me, that is traveling. I traveled to over 30, 40 countries at this point. I've lost track, while saving because I knew that travel was what I wanted, but at the same time, I also had an eye on the goal of financial freedom and financial independence. The last and the final piece needed in order to build wealth is actually investing the money that you have saved. We're not talking about speculation. We're not talking about, oh, let's go bet $100,000, all my savings onto GameStop or Tesla because someone said there was a hot tip. If these tips were so great, why didn't they use it themselves? Why are they still working a 9-to-5 job telling other people how to get rich? There's a common statistic that over 95% of speculators end up failing to actually beat the market. When I say beat the market, we're talking about actually the next part of what I want to talk about investing is investing in the S&P 500, which is an exchange traded fund where it mirrors the Fortune 500 companies in the United States, where these are the top performing companies where you should be investing. And we're talking about low fee exchange traded funds such as VTI, VOO, and you can look up these tickers, but these are the ETFs that you want to be investing on a continuous basis using dollar cost averaging or DCA. I know I'm throwing a lot of terms out there that you might not understand, but this video is short. and straight to the point. So you might want to dig into some of the details. You should be on average every 3 months or so, every month or so, set a portion of your paycheck to be actually invested into these exchange traded funds. And the question is, why does this work? And we're talking about this because in the last 100 years, historical average return, the rate of return has been 10%. Even though it fluctuates on and off every year, sometimes you have a bad year, sometimes you have a good year, the average is 10% compounded over time. So the earlier you do it, and if you start in your 20s and you continue building this into your 30s, while also increasing your income and keeping your expenses low, and we're talking about savings rates of over 40-50%, which is pretty high, because the common trope is to save 10%. Over time, you'll be way ahead of your peers, and not only your peers, but people that are decades older than you. To summarize, the 4 parts of building wealth is to have the right mindset, always looking to be increasing your income, expenses, keeping your expenses low, and invest the money that you have saved. So some of the fundamental questions that you can be asking yourself is what you actually want out of life. Money is just a tool for you to reach specific goals. It serves a purpose. What does success actually mean to me? Do I want to retire at 65, or do I want to actually retire early? Your financial education and building wealth is so that you can live the most fulfilling life possible from wherever you started. Whether you're like me, an immigrant kid growing up in Queens, New York with not a dollar to his name, you can still build to the level of your desire and your goals. And I hope you learned something, and make sure to like and subscribe for more.